Most women don't realize that the control they carry in relationship isn't because they're too strong or too much. It's because somewhere along the way they learned they couldn't trust. Childhood wounds taught them that they had to stay vigilant, scanning every move to feel safe. And now, that survival posture shows up with their partner, as criticism, as guarding, as trying to manage his every step. But here's the truth. Your man doesn't want a mother, he wants a lover. And the posture that restores intimacy is not control, but peace. In this episode, we're diving into why control takes root, how it robs your intimacy, and what it means to invite your man back into leadership, while you return to the posture of peace, strength, and trust in God. This is how we heal. This is how we rebuild union. When we talk about the concepts of polarity and masculine and feminine, if they're not going to the source, which are your patterns, fears, abandonment, wounds from your childhood, your ideas of the masculine and feminine in general, if you're not going there and you're just going to look at what you're doing, it's really easy to pinpoint things that you're doing and thinking that fixing those are going to be the answer, and even thinking that just swapping what you and your partner are doing is going to repolarize my relationship, make me feel more passion, make it so that I can be in my feminine more if he would just take out the trash and maybe if I would start cooking more. That's very boiled down, but this is what happens. We go for the symptoms. We go for the symptoms, but really what's happening is we're taking on an identity that we have taken on because of our patterns, because of what we learned, because of what we think our worth is, or how to be worthy, or how to be a man or a woman. And we feel an ache, we feel lack, we feel fear, we feel a longing, most of all, for fullness. We feel a longing of something that we know we can achieve. We know this relationship can be, but we don't know exactly how to get it. And sometimes we don't even know why this ache is coming up. Most of the time, if we're in this kind of relationship, doing things this way where we are trying to make everything perfect, it will then obviously not make sense to us. I'm doing everything. I'm looking at every little detail. I'm micromanaging. And we don't understand why it's not working because we've learned that micromanaging is how we stay safe. Whether we've been in relationships where men are used to women micromanaging, and in result, they aren't really happy, but they just know that pattern. And in the end, there's always going to be an ache. Or whether from our childhood, we had parents or just our adults or our teachers who needed us to micromanage their emotions, because if you didn't, they would yell, they would scream, they would collapse. And we feel like, okay, I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So why am I not happy? And why are you not happy? Okay, but polarizing or more balancing the relationship, or even attracting a partner who is going to fulfill you in ways that are not just trauma bonding, or being able to have the capacity to build a relationship from a place of truth, is not really going to come from a 10-step program. It's not going to come from memorizing a mask to put on about how to be more feminine. It's not going to be about fulfilling the patterns that you've learned from wounds that would get you the shadow of what you actually want. Right? I'm controlling my relationship because it's what I know how to do from my childhood or whatever. And it usually gets me what I think of as love, because that's what we felt as a kid, or as in our past relationships. This is what we know is love. It's when we do this and they give us acceptance, or they give us praise, or they give us the emotions that were whatever was considered positive in that outcome, but they were not true love. So really, because of your patterns, you're not actually chasing truth and real love. You're chasing the shadow that you know of as love. And you're wondering in the end, why am I feeling still empty? And even if you just feel a little bit of lack over time, because we are ingrained with the need to feel real love, even if it's just the shadow that just comes right up to real love, but it's not, over time, chasing that is going to leave you feel empty. Because that's what shadow emotions do. There's a concept of all of these real things that you want to feel, having a shadow that's maybe easier to get or that you can get out of trauma patterns, but they're always going to come right up to that feeling and leave it incomplete. And chasing that side of all of the good emotions and sensations and truth that you want is going to leave you always feeling lack, feeling incomplete, and chasing most of all. So you are trying to act something out, right? In your relationship. You want to be radiant. Maybe you feel like you have a lack and you want to feel like I have it all together, but inside you're still leaning into these long-term patterns of relationship. You don't need a mask. You don't need to focus on changing your actions or your partner's actions to achieve these really deep desires. Your worth and your idea of what a relationship should look like produces these actions, produces your feelings of belonging and acceptance. But what we really need to go down to is, am I able to turn my eyes to first the inside and realize I am a woman that comes from a creator, from God? Am I able to put my identity in Him? Am I able to do the work to go back and look at my patterns and redirect my feelings of where my acceptance, my belonging, and my purpose comes from, and point that towards God, and point that towards His eyes, how He sees you? Am I able to lay down my control, lay down my fears that make me try to always make the uncertain certain, and see myself first through Him, because you are radiant through Him. You are mature through Him, through the work that He will call you to, which is always going to be truth, which is always going to be get to the root, and it's always going to be complete, and it's never going to be just a little bit left out. It's about laying all of that down and letting Him show you who you really are. Once you go deep into healing with Him, letting Him pull up all of the wounds, the conditioning patterns from the root, this space is made to rebuild and reshape you. And you develop the capacity to fill your things, to fill yourself with things that encompass the person that you really want to be. If we are in a relationship and we feel lack, and we're acting out all of these patterns of fear and control in what we've done in the past relationship, or how to cope, or how to get a response, we are taking up so much space. If you feel exhausted, if you feel like it's never enough, if you feel like you're running around in circles, it's because these patterns and this mode of being inside of us takes up so much space, and it takes up so much more energy than truly having the capacity to hold truth. Whenever we free our patterns and we trust in God and we come into our seat and we front with Him and we source our validation from Him, we're no longer enslaved to these patterns. They, over time, and though this work is not a one and done, and it's always gonna call you to reopen and research yourself, you will free up your space. You will free up your capacity, and you will be able to refill and rebuild with truth, with love. You will never have the space for the woman, the relationship, the parent that you want to be, just trying to build something new instead of tearing down the old. So, when you step into your identity with God, you choose to go through this path with Him. He is going to call you. It's not just about breaking everything down. It's not just about emptying yourself and then waiting and seeing, okay, He's going to fill me up now. He is going to say, first, you need the space, and I'm going to be here with you while we get the space opened. And then He is going to call you to grow and change and learn, because you are strong. He wants you to have His shield, but He wants you to take up His sword. While in Him you are softened, you are open-hearted, you are awake, you are able to receive, you are able to feel your partner's or another person's heart. You are also called to be strong, to be discerning, to be open to going through the challenge. You are not just what we call the daughter in God. You are, but you are so much more than that. Sometimes when people have experiences of religion or don't even have an experience of God, you're going to think whatever you've picked up over your life of what He is and what He wants for you, wants from you. But in truth, He wants everything. He wants everything for you, and He wants to experience life through you, not just whenever you're broken down, or not just whenever you empty yourself completely out. He is so also interested in the filling up of you. He's interested in your curiosity, in your learning, in your fighting your battles. He's interested in you experiencing every bit of life. I like to think of God as the most interesting being that you've ever met. He is not just interested in forgiving you. He's not just interested in your salvation, though that is the most important thing He's interested in. If that was the only thing that happened, fine. But I can tell you from experience, He is also interested in you fulfilling the completeness of sensation and experience that He has to offer you in this life. And it's huge. It's huge. You might think of God as like a mystical being, and He just thinks about, big, huge concepts. He thinks about, whenever you're reading a book, He thinks about the little things that you learn. He thinks about the little things that you see. He is there living through you whenever you are interested in a new science concept or relationship concept or something that your kids teach you, or you teaching your kids something little. You will feel deeper into your heart whenever you have the capacity for it, and whenever you let him experience life through you and let him walk with you, you will feel amazement at how much more you can feel. And your idea of the ability to love and hold life and the importance of the things that you fill your life with, big and small, that will grow exponentially. And you'll be able to feel more, and you'll be able to want more without feeling sort of a devastating lack that comes from acting out your patterns where you know, subconsciously or consciously, you will never actually achieve the real sensation that you desire. So, the woman who's developed this capacity can build and sustain relationships because she moves from the heart. She doesn't just act from a method of femininity that she's memorized and that teaches how to react, how to get the reaction that you want, how to walk and talk like a mature feminine. A lot of women go straight to trying to fix what is wrong on the surface, right? The little actions, like I'm gonna tell him that I want to be more feminine and I want him to be more masculine, or the polarity is off, or someone's on autopilot. And the practice of obtaining this polarity isn't inherently wrong, and some of those actions might be off, but just saying this and this and this needs to change, it's not going to help the root. It's not going to help the root. A week later, you're going to go back into the patterns of autopilot, control, whatever it is when a new situation pops up, and the patterns that are learned and the roles that we've put ourselves in our relationship, we're, both of us, or just you're going to fall back into those. There's a lot of discernment to do before boiling your problems down to just changing up the roles. Let's say that you are feeling a lack of leadership from your partner. Or you're feeling like you're not able to drop into your feminine, or maybe you feel like some exhaustion. Sometimes this comes out as I don't have enough time for me, stuff like that, right? You feel burnt out. You feel like you're mothering, right? You feel like you're being the mother, not the lover. One reason we might feel like this is because we are based in a pattern of control. And we have learned this because the mother is not something that you should never be, right? This is a wounded, I guess you could say, archetype. This is a wounded just type of femininity. A lot of times you might think, I am mothering, it's causing me distress because of the patterns that I'm playing out, so I'm not going to be the mother anymore. And being the mother is attached to something wrong, but a lot of the times we are not in the wrong archetype. Our archetypes are wounded, right? The wounded princess, the domineering mother. These are ways that come across to our partner that lead us into this undesired polarity, staleness, tension, and leaves you longing. Okay, so when you are in your wounded mother, you are most likely trying to control things because this is how you've been made to feel safe. This is how you felt relief. Because control is a way to soothe the wound of not being able to trust, the wound of being vulnerable to failure, the wound of someone else's failure. And the wound is not that you like to plan things or that you like to take care of a lot of things in your relationship. The wound comes in when you don't trust your partner to do anything. When you over-plan, plan again, whenever you are planning things because you just don't trust. because you don't know how to plan things, not plan things that scare you. And always having to make the uncertain certain. Because if not, something bad might happen. I am not open to being vulnerable. I am not opening my heart to this. If something goes wrong, I have learned that something will crack, either because your parents cracked or they couldn't hold their own emotions and it made them angry. This pattern started as a 2-person event, but eventually you learn to do this to yourself all alone. And if you entered into a new relationship, then sometimes you attracted someone who had the reciprocal of that wound and knew that, okay, I am just going to let you do it because maybe they had a mother or someone doing this and it was just best to leave them to do it. Because if they think if you aren't allowed to do it, again, you're going to get angry. You're going to be fearful, because when I'm in this pattern and I'm controlling because I'm scared, if I am not allowed to control, I will get very angry because I'm getting more fear in my body. And so your partner might have learned that before from someone else, and they're just letting you do it. And if you entered into a relationship and kind of like taught your partner, like, this is how it is, this is what I want to do, and he wants to please you, so he lets you, and he is kind of got on autopilot. Because men naturally, they want us to be happy, and it's going to bring out negativity in his emotions or fear of lack. But more than that, he probably just wants you to be happy. So if we're going to try to change this, if you've realized, okay, I'm in this pattern, I am deep in this pattern, and I really want to get out of it, obviously, the first thing you're going to do is go to the source. This is a big part of the Architecture of Union program, going into the past, going to the root, taking you into space where you feel comfortable looking at those things, finding them, moving through them, letting God go with you, pulling these things up from the root and opening that space, right? Opening that very scary, scary void, and sometimes leaving it open. Sometimes leaving it open because it might not be instant. It might not be that I've gone and done the work and pulled everything up and immediately, whoosh, a big flow of loving energy. I automatically know the right thing to do now. It may not happen like that, and that is scary. That is going to trigger these fear patterns of control, because a lot of the times why we're holding on to them is because a pattern for someone in this fear of lack of control or vulnerability, a pattern that kind of works is better than no pattern. So that void, whenever you truly open that and drop these and realize that you've been doing this because of XYZ and breathing it out, there will be a void left. But you will build. You will build. And instead of treating the symptoms of your wounds and working backwards, you will be at the root. God knows how much capacity you have. He's not concerned for how much you've planned, and he's not concerned with how empty you become when you drop and release all that is enslaving you. He knows how it's going to feel. He knows what you're going to feel when those wounds are opened. He knows how it's going to feel when you move love through them. And he's waiting. He's waiting for you. He's waiting for you to just open the floodgates. He's got big plans, right? I used to have very big dreams and very little space for them. And sometimes it can feel like God is not giving me what I am asking for. God, I've been the only one that has been doing things in my life. It might feel like I'm the only one who has really tried to give me what I need. The point to this is that you didn't have the capacity, you didn't have the space for the truth that was never going to be built on top of the old patterns and the old things that you were holding on to. He has been waiting for you, loving you. Plans, he's been redoing the plans at every turn that you didn't take the opportunity or the invitation from him to open up, but he's still got the plan for you. You didn't miss it. It's been reworked a million times for each opportunity. And if you take the opportunity tomorrow, he's still got the whole plan for you. He still has a way to build everything that he had planned for you in the beginning. But you are gonna have to open the space. You're gonna have to open the space. And it's beautiful and it's scary, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So you realized something in my relationship needs to change. And I'm coming back into my real identity as a mature woman through God who has the capacity to feel and open to the moment and realize what's needed here. And in my relationship, let's go with the example that I have micromanaged so much because of fear that now my partner is on autopilot, right? And the masculine really, truly, deeply wants to serve the feminine heart. He wants to make you feel safe, and so you can open and you can fill the space around us with our energy and our love. And this is typically what we think of as feminine. And it can see if I'm constricted, if I'm fearful, if I am crowded by these things that we've been talking about. I'm not going to be able to do that. So obviously, first we do all of the really important work. And then after this, let's build, let's play, let's experiment, let's do all of these things that we now have the capacity for. So say now you have the capacity to want to really, really get into building a really balanced, harmonizing relationship where I'm able to play and my husband is able to, or partner, whatever, is able to really feel into his masculine and rise and feel like he can claim me again in sort of like a rebirth of this relationship. Or if you're not in a relationship right now, how to just build this and set these just expectations or set these invitations up right. So when you feel that maybe your partner goes on autopilot, if he's hesitant and you feel like it's in him, but something is holding him back, whether it was from a past partner and he learned this, whether you are changing your relationship and you know that this pattern has been in your relationship, it's going to be tempting to go back into your patterns of just controlling or mothering and say, I am not in my feminine, you are not in your masculine, and this is how we can change it if you do this and I do this. This is not what your new self is going to appreciate. This is not what love is going to appreciate. This is not how to call him back into leadership and call yourself into love. So how to do this artfully and with an open heart is the key, is the question. Like we said, men often need to be invited back into this because they're tired of disappointing you. They're tired of you not giving them the reins. They'd rather you just be happy, and they have subdued themselves, right? They've subdued themselves because if you're happy, they're happy, but really, he's not. What you can do, even though it's going to be hard, and it might be, the hard part might be doing this conversation with an open heart and not just stating the facts, because just stating the clear facts and expecting emotion to come might be part of those pathways that we previously had. So when you try to do this conversation with him, try to feel it. Try to have it come really from the heart instead of talking about the symptoms. And tell him, I love it when you lead. I love your leadership. I would love for you to pick the restaurant tonight. And I can't wait to see what you pick. And I know I'm going to have a great time either way. And I'm so excited. This makes me really, really, really excited. And you don't have to go and say, I know I've been a tyrant or something whenever something didn't go my way. I promise not to do that anymore. But if you invite him into it and tell him, I am so excited for you to pick. Anywhere you pick is going to be great. And I am going to just go get dressed. And, he's going to feel that you are receptive to his leadership. The point is to let him know you are open to receiving. You are curious about what his leadership is like, and that it's good. Not only is it allowed, but it's good. And you want it. You want to feel it. You want it in your body. And you don't have to just have this energy all the time, right? We are going to be in our masculine sometimes, first of all, like maybe at work or in the gym or something. You're not always going to be in your feminine, but you're not always going to be in your masculine. These control patterns are going to start to loosen, but you don't have to completely throw everything out that you feel maybe has caused some tension, because like we said before with the archetype discussion, it's not just mothering that was the problem. It's the wounded mothering. It's the domineering mothering. So maybe you're thinking, okay, so he's always got to lead. He doesn't always have to lead. And sometimes you will still feel like you're mothering, but the difference between taking care of him, sometimes you still feel like you're gonna be taking care of him. The difference between always mothering him and just taking care of him, for example, is doing something for him because you don't think he could do it by himself, or you think that something would go wrong, or doing something for him because you care about him, and taking care of each other is part of a great relationship. So, for example, if you're gonna make a doctor's appointment for him, right? He's busy, maybe he's working, maybe he's doing something else, and you have the time, so you can call. Mothering would be, I'm making this appointment for you because you're too busy. This is the time that you're going. Make sure that you're there. Don't forget. Okay? Being a lover and taking care of him would be, I know you're so busy with work, and do you want me to make this appointment for you? I could make this appointment for you if you want. When would be a good time for you think, to go to the doctor's appointment? So The difference is nuanced and it's subtle. And in the past, if you're in your fear pattern and that's taking up most of your vision, you might not see this difference. You might be like, that's the same thing, who cares? When you have an open heart, when your field of vision is open to the minute nuances that steer the energy of your relationship, you're gonna start to see these differences, and you'll probably start to see the differences in your partner and how he reacts, and kind of the cascade that comes from when you do these little things differently and you shift the energy of your relationship, and it will open up so much goodness. It will open up so much goodness. You will feel the ability to switch through these energies more. Right now I am making the appointment for him, but now I'm not stuck in this pattern, and I can go right back into the lover, or I can go into any of the other feminine energies that I want. I'm not stuck. I'm not tethered to needing to be the mother all the time, or being the wounded princess all the time, or any of these patterns that are sticky and that get stuck. Having in this open heart and letting this care that you're taking, in this example, be fluid and open to him saying no or him saying yes, is not going to solidify the pattern. And him saying no isn't going to throw you into a response that, oh great, now maybe something could go wrong, or he's just going to miss the appointment, or he's just not going to make it. Those being let go slowly but surely are going to open you up for so much more life, so much more. What now? What can I do now? Where does love need met? Now I'm free. I'm free to build. I'm free to get curious. I don't have to make sure everything is gonna go right all the time. I can see my partner's sovereignty. I can see now his ability and his capacity to steer his own life, steer some of our relationship. And that is where some of this softening comes in, where I feel held. I feel like a feminine who, my partner's gonna plan this date for me, and he's now feeling open to do that. And I can enjoy it. I can sink into this, and I don't always have to. It's a freedom. It's good. It feels good, and it feels complete. And I feel like I have more space. And when I have more space, more opens up to me, right? More opens up. God opens up more, calls me into more. And that is the most beautiful part of this, is I am called into so much more. My life is not just micromanaging what is right now in front of me. What is ahead, what is available to me, is so much more. So much more. So much more for you, so much more for your partner, so much more for your union. The ease of energy movement and the capacity to meet the moment from emptying the space where these patterns and these fear were based is the key to the union that you desire.